What's happening, people of Indiana? This is Bob Wankel here from crossingbroad.com to tell you about two offers that you can take advantage of ahead of this week's Colts game against the Denver Broncos. You can sign up with DraftKings Sportsbook at crossingbroad.com/DK. Get your first bet matched up to $200. And at FanDuel Sportsbook, which just went live in Indiana this past week, they're offering up to a $500 risk-free bet.
You give me a rain.
All right, so we have the 2-5 Denver Broncos traveling to Indianapolis on Sunday afternoon to face the 4-2 Colts, who are coming off a monster AFC South win within the division against the Houston Texans a week ago. Colts at 4-2 have a commanding lead now in the AFC South. They get this struggling Broncos team that lost at home last Thursday night to the Kansas City Chiefs, even though Patrick Mahomes went down in the first half. Denver was completely non-competitive in that game, and they have seemingly punted on the season after trading Emmanuel Sanders to the San Francisco 49ers earlier this week. Now, listen, you would have thought that the Colts would have crumbled after Andrew Luck retired right on the eve of the regular season, but that has not been the case. Jacoby Brissett has filled in admirably. Frank Reich continues to be one of the NFL's best coaches since taking the Indianapolis head job ahead of the 2018 season. Now they have a spot to move to 5-2 where they should be able to take advantage of it. Denver comes in as a 6-point underdog plus 215 on the money line, and the total set at 44. You can grab the Colts with an outright win at minus 250. These odds are courtesy of FanDuel Sportsbook. All right, now as far as this game goes, my concern with taking Denver, although when I look at this spread, I say this kind of looks like a Broncos spread. How motivated are the Broncos going to be? They're a veteran team. They are under a first-year head coach who certainly is going to be evaluating his talent, seeing what they're going to do moving forward beyond the 2019 season. So the younger players should be motivated. But what about those veterans after the trade of Emmanuel Sanders? I'm just kind of not too sure about that, even though this sort of shapes up to me at 6 points to be a Denver line. So a couple things that we have to take into consideration here. Indianapolis is red hot at home lately. They've won 8 of their last 9 home games, and they're also 2-1 against the spread as a home favorite of 6 points or more under head coach Frank Reich. Something else that I find to be, I would say pretty favorable in terms of backing the Colts in this game. Home favorites of 5.5 to 6.5 points that are on a 2-game win streak, as Indy is ahead of this one, are 20-13 against the spread in conference games. And then this one, you got to follow me a little bit. It's kind of interesting. When 65 to 80% of the money is on a team and their odds still improve by at least 1 point from open to close, those teams are 39, 17, and 1 against the spread. And so what we're seeing here is when the team's odds actually get better, in this case, Indy was -7, they're now sitting at -6, and yet all of the money right now at the middle of the week is on Indianapolis. You would think that that would be a red flag as a reason to go against where the money is, but that has not been the case. In this situation, hitting at 39, 17, and 1 ATS. So I don't know as the week goes on where the money is going to trend. That remains to be seen, but if it stays there and this is the trend and it continues that way, something to be aware of. Now, meanwhile, here's something that I find very concerning in terms of backing Denver. Road underdogs of 5 to 7 points that are coming off of a loss of 20-plus points, as is Denver ahead of this game, are only 26 and 44 ATS. So that is a huge problem if you're looking to grab the Broncos in this game. However, now this is one thing, of everything that I found, the one thing that I can really rely on here in terms of going with the Broncos exists in this system. Okay, when you have an underdog of only 5 to 7 points, that scored 0 to 9 points in the previous week, and only 15 to 30% of the spread bets are on that team in the following week, those teams are 145, 94, and 3 against the spread. Now let's talk a little bit about this. What does this even mean? Well, if we step back and look at this from a more macro perspective, what this system is basically telling us is that when you have a team coming off a terrible performance, the public is not going to want to back them. And when the public goes against teams that are coming off of a terrible performance such as the Broncos had a week ago, this gives us perhaps a little bit of value in the spread. And so we're seeing here a situation in which at about a 60% rate, these teams coming off such abysmal performances are covering. So that is something to definitely consider if you're looking to back Denver in this game. Now, as far as the total goes, Really tried to hammer away at this. Couldn't find anything that was completely overwhelming one way or the other. So something to take into consideration that the under is 37, 29, and 2 when the road team has gone under in 3 straight games and the home team is coming off a game in which they went over. And again, Denver has not even come close to going over the total in their last 3 contests leading into this one. So again, the under 37, 29, and 2 in that particular situation. So with all of that said, I look at this and I don't love the game. I have to be honest with you. I don't love it either way. The Colts are certainly the better team. They have all the momentum. I wonder about Denver's motivation ahead of this one. And yet it's only a 6-point spread. I really thought we were going to see a 7, 7.5, maybe even 8 at some books here. So if this thing continues to sit at 6, it would be a no play for me. It really would be. That being said, if I had to take it, I would actually take Denver for the simple fact that, again, when you have a team coming off of a terrible performance in its previous outing and the public is all over that, or all over the other side, to me, this is a situation where I have to go against the public. I would grab the 6 points, though I do believe that the Colts will win. As far as the total goes, I would just roll based on the one trend that we were able to pull there. I would probably take the under. Denver's offense has really struggled. I think that if Denver does cover this game, it's going to be a very low-scoring affair. If you want our full betting preview on the Broncos-Colts game, head over to crossingbroad.com. Remember, if you're in the state of Indiana, head over to crossingbroad.com/DK. Get in on DraftKings. They're offering a $200 first bet match. And FanDuel Sportsbook is now also live in the state of Indiana. You can go to crossingbroad.com/FD. Take advantage of a $500 risk-free bet.